Hello friends, very good morning. Welcome to Astra, the daily current affairs from the Hindu. Today it is 27th of June 2022. What I am going to do is please understand why I am just underlining some aspects. So whenever I say this is important, understand that this can be used in UPSC mains, and I will clearly say whether it is for mains or prelims. Whenever I say something is for mains, no need to read in depth just to know what is the thing that is going on, because you cannot substantiate each and everything in mains. So this can be used as example. So whenever I say this you have to study, just read it, and apart from this, if I don't say you to read, not necessary. So this is how you can think. And whenever I said something is important, I'm going to make a subsequent videos, short videos on each and every topic that is important. So don't worry, this is just to finish this paper as early as possible every day. The rest of the things is, whenever I take, say for example, if it is the issue of some pensions, already we have made a short video, so you can watch these type of short videos to enhance the knowledge. What I mean to say is, subsequently after this I will immediately or quickly complete this. Subsequently there will be some short videos depending upon what is important for our prelims and mains. You can follow that. So for those who doesn't know what this is the thing. So why I am making this Astra? This is to ensure that you will finish reading the paper at the earliest by knowing which is important, because many students doesn't know what to study for your UPSC as far as this is considered. Hindu is considered. Center will ensure execution of the pact with cookies. So we all know this. So the moment you know this, this is related to something called Manipur incident. So in Manipur, there are cookies and mighties. So they might. This is important question for prelims. Who are cookies? Who are mighties? Already we have made an in-depth video. So what the Chief Minister of Manipur, Mr. Byron Singh, is saying that the Home Minister said that the centre will provide the maximum support to implement the ground rules and applicable for suspension of operations agreement with the Kuki insurgent groups. So this is what important here: suspension of operations agreement with the Kuki insurgent groups. What is this SOO agreement? This is the trilateral agreement which was made by the Kuki insurgents on one side, the central home minister on one side, and the so-called state government on one side. So these are the three parties who are involved in this, because after this Manipur incident which has happened, the Kukis refused to go with the SOO agreement. Now the central government is insisting for the insurgents in the northeast to go with this SOO agreement. That is the thing that we have to know. Apart from this, nothing is important from this. Suspended BRS Punguleti Jupali meet Rahul Gandhi. So this is something coming. So July 11th is a new deadline for the new higher pension scheme. So something was in news recently about higher pensions. So we have already made in-depth analysis of this. What is the problem of this EPFO? What they are asking? What is the demands of various people? So just to know this, that there is some deadline which was announced on this only heading. After this, the local news, you do not have much in the today's Hindu newspaper as far as local aspects is considered. When you go to the India from the south, caste will have no role to play in the appointment of temple priests. This was reiterated by the Tamil Nadu High Court. So the same sentence can be used in answer writing whenever you are writing the so-called social society aspects. So in appointment of the temple priest, you should not show any caste discrimination. This is clearly in line with Article 17 of the Indian Constitution, which has clearly said that we have to eliminate or abolish untouchability. Now, in order to substantiate his conclusion, the High Court judge has dependent on 2002 Supreme Court verdict. This is important. In Adityanath versus Travancore Devaswanam Board, in which the customary claim for performance of rituals solely by the Brahmins or Malayala Brahmins in practice was negated, which means today this cannot be done. Everywhere the priest can be from any community. So whatever the rules that your customs are saying, any person can be appointed as a priest if they are well versed. That is the reason why state government conducts some exams for this. If properly trained and fully qualified to perform pujas and other rituals as per Agama Shastra applicable to the temple concerned. So this is positive, right? That you can remember. Very good judgment from the High Court of Tamil Nadu. Next, the main chapter on how Hindutva seems the past. So this is the correlation. If you are interested to read Shishi Tharoor article, you can read it. Now this is about Hindutva versus Hinduism. What is Hindutva? Asking the Hindutva is an ideology asking for a separate state in the name of a religion. This is an extremist ideology. So he is comparing. Always Shishi Tharoor takes this topic, that is Hinduism and Hindutva. Just look at, if you are interested, you can watch it. Otherwise, if you are familiar with what is Hinduism, what is Hindutva, that is more than enough. If you have time, read it, but not a great thing. Now, a great revival, a grand revival. This is very important, guys. India and Egypt has established in the recent years. So this is speaking about the relationship between Egypt and India. Very, very important. You have to read it. We are going to make a substantial video on this. You can watch it, but please read it. Rebellion in Russia. Yes, interested candidates, particularly PSR students, has to read it because we all know that Vladimir Putin should bring the war to an end for stability at home. Recently, we all know that the Wagner private military company head Yevgeny Prigozhin has said that they have waged civil war and they were stopped. So, civil wars are going to continue if you are entering into a protracted war. So, please, PSIR students, read it. This is for PSIR. General studies students, you have to read this substantially. You can read it at your time. Second one, laying the foundations for a future ready digital India. Please read this because you'll get some inputs about what is digital India, how we can make this ready, or how we can make India to be future ready. So GS students, please read it. Where you'll use it? This you'll use it in governance, digital governance, right? A man who is ahead of his times. So this man is writing about Imtiaz. Imtiaz Ahmad was the first and foremost scholar interested in the play of power in the society and what it was doing to communities. So this is about an author. So if you are interested, read. But for UPSC, not important. Reduced ceiling, increased anger. The reduced limit of open market borrowings has caused a political row. Very important. Just go through it because it speaks about how RBI has reduced the so-called open market borrowing operations for the government. So you can just go through it. This is important in fiscal federalism concepts. So after reading your editorial on Egypt, directly come to this and read it as your second priority. After that, you can go for third or fourth priority. You can give it to Shashi Tharoor's article. A June with extremes in temperature. So just remember this, because of El Nino and because of the climate changes that is happening, the weather patterns are also reflected or changing very much. Assam will have fewer Muslim majority constituencies, says opposition, because the government, the Election Commission of India, is saying effectively that they are going to for delimitation of constituencies. That is what they are saying. So wait and watch. Nothing is going to happen as of today. Dismiss Byron Singh first. Congress dismiss Byron Singh first. Congress says this because this fellow is responsible as per the Congress. Man lynched by group of cow vigilance. Just remember this. This can be used in mob lynching, lack of security in some areas. So remember this, guys. This is very important for ethics and essay writing. Cow vigilance and suspension were in Nasik district in Maharashtra. So a 32-year-old man was lynched allegedly by a group of cow vigilance for suspicion. So this is mob violence. Please remember this. You can use it in answer writing. Modi holds meeting to review the Manipur situation. Completely fine. Rajnath Singh criticizes Obama's remarks on minority rights in India. Recently, minorities of India. Obama criticized that the majority community or the government is suppressing the rights of the minorities, but this is unfortunately a very bad thing. So Rajnath Singh has given the counter saying that Obama ji should not forget that India is the only country which considers all the people living in the world as a family. So these fellows, Americans themselves are waging wars in all the countries and they are preaching Indians. That is absolutely unacceptable as far as India is considered, and should not accept these type of things. So this was a very befitting reply that our people have given. Defense Minister speaks out against the former US President's statement, reminding him how many Muslim countries he has attacked, referring to the war on terror during the Democrats' leader tenure. So America during the tenure of Obama, they have made many violences. So this is the thing, but we are the only country which are really secular in its nature, and we have to upload or we have to be very vigilant for this. So please read this if your time permits. So you can consider this as a third thing where your knowledge will be enhanced. Here and there you can use this. Mamata government complicit in Bengal violence. This is related to local governance issues. Already I have said, just remember that statement. In local governance you can use. Opposition plans seat sharing in the states where there is already an alliance. This is coming to New Delhi, leave it. Since April, 149 Chardham Yatris died for ailments and accidents. So you can just remember this. Chardham Yatris are dying from ailments and accidents. 72 deaths were reported from Kedarnath, Yamunotri, Badrinath, Gangotri. These four places are important for your geography. The health department shares that the death was related to heart attacks, pilgrimage season to go onto the hill. So they are going, heart attack is increasing. where you can write it? You can write it in the part of your culture. If there is a question on how culture should be protected and how our pilgrim centers have to be corrected and how our pilgrimages should be ensured very safe, you can use these things. 100 standard as flash floods, landslips, disrupt Hamad. This is very important, guys. So disaster management, 100 standard as landslides happen, disrupt Himachal highways. So just remember this, because of the changing geographical profile in this region, hundreds of people are facing problems of flash floods, landslips in Himachal. We have also seen the Joshimath sinking of the lands, right? Sri Lanka to restructure its domestic debt amid challenges, something new, something good for Sri Lanka. So they are going to change as per the IMF rules. S&P retains financial year 24 India's growth projections at 6%. Not that important. Leave it. Obviously, this will be changing every time they release. We cannot remember what S&P is saying every time. World at critical point in inflation fighting, says Bank of International Settlements. Bank of International Settlements, we all know that BIS is the voluntary group of the banking systems, which is present in which is present at headquartered at the so-called Switzerland, has called for more interest rate increases, warning that the world economy was now at the crucial point as the countries are struggling to rein in inflation. So what it is telling, inflation is going to, fighting inflation is the most important difficult topic. Hence the topic of inflation is very, very important, guys. This article is also important. Please go through this article. Next, apart from this, we do not have much, no need to read. So these are the things that we have in the science space, the fossil that changing what we know about the patterns in nature. So they have added this science page, but this is very complicated. The page is very complicated day to day. So no need to kill your time on these aspects. Understanding the Wagner mutiny, no need to understand into that depth. I'll make a separate video on this. You can understand what exactly is this. But directly they don't ask this question, except one prelims question: what is Wagner Group? Wagner Group is known as the mercantile group, which is providing mercenary support of armies to the Russia. The role of organic intellectuals, very, very important for PSIR candidates. This is directly a PSIR topic about organic intellectuals, which was written by the so-called, or which was mentioned by a Marxist known as Antonio Gramsci. Right, in his prison books, they have written this. Antonio Gramsci has written prison books. In his essays, he has pointed out that how we can challenge this organic intellectual to target capitalism of hegemony. So PSIR students, you have to read. So what are the important things in this paper altogether, that what you have to read? Organic intellectuals, I am going to make the video. Wagner Group, I am going to make the video. But for general studies students, please let's remember what is organic Wagner mutiny. It is Wagner is a mercenary army supporting group, which means private army supporting group in Russia. So this is the second thing that you have to remember. The third one is, please read this. World is at critical stage in inflation, saying by BIS. I will make that video also. Sri Lanka to restructure its domestic debt. Just remember the heading. Hundreds of people are getting struck at flash floods and landslides. If you are interested, you can read this, guys. A very good topic, this one. Next one, since April, Chardam. Just remember this in the cultural component. And let's go through this article quickly. Man lynched, just remember this. This can be used in ethics. And then June with extreme temperatures, reduced ceiling and increased anger. You have to read this because this is very important. In the editorial page, there are two things that you have to read. This is one and that is two. And the rest of the things are what I said. Yes, this is the thing that you have for today. Thanks for joining. Have a great day.